All right, this is I just want to go over this because it's really cool. Um, this neck is a Warmouth. You know, Ken Warmouth died a couple weeks ago. He was a really nice guy. But this is a Warmouth neck, and this is roasted maple. And they make like amazing necks, you know, so they really do. It's got an Nirvana, I guess it's a compensated nut. Uh, this is for intonation. That's something we'll get into later. It's just compensated. But this has a truss rod down here, and on a Strat, I don't know if you can see it in the video, but there's a truss rod right here, and you make your main adjustment there. But this has a Gotoh rod, which is you don't see these on many guitars, so this is very cool. But it's got a fine adjustment on the side here, and it's I guess it's like a 3mm wrench. You put that in there. Now you can do that when it's in the guitar, so you can make your final adjustments after you put it on, like an old style Strat. You have to take the neck off to make the adjustments, especially when you have a lip like this underneath. But in this case, they're using the Gotoh rod, so it's very, it's very cool, because if you're going to make that final adjustment, when it's all strung up and you don't want to take the neck off, you got this final one. So this is I'm not sure the name of it, but they came out with, I guess, about, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago. And not too many people use it because it's really expensive to add. But it is a really cool thing. It just makes that final adjustment. So you tighten it up here with your straight edge. You know, you can use your straight edge, or you can eyeball it and get it to where you want it. And you got to remember, when you have string tension, the neck's gonna give. It's gonna push. So you want to tighten it as straight as possible, maybe a little over tight. You can feel. You have to feel. It's hard to explain. But this is roasted, so it ain't going nowhere. Roasted maple. But when you're all done, you get it all strung up, you're ready to go, and everything's good to go. And then you get it, and you're like, oh man, I wish I could make it a little bit of a truss rod adjustment without taking the neck off. You go right out here. It's just like right there. And I'll show you when I get the guitar strung up. You just turn that. Now this neck, I replaced the nut on it. Actually, I took the old one out. I dropped it in. This one went right in. There's no problem at all. And then when I check the nut height, just to make sure ahead of time, I use a straight edge. I use a razor blade. And I put it inside. I put it in the nut. I use those long Alpha blades, which I'll go get over here. This is an Alpha knife. They call it Alpha blades, but this is probably a cheap Chinese one. But the good ones are made in Japan. They're not easy to find anymore. The old days, that was the only ones they had. You can break them off, but they're nice and long. On the low E string, what I'm going to do, just to make sure before I string it up, I'm going to put this in here and look. You check it at the first fret. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to check the distance between this nut and that first fret underneath here. And I can see it, and I can also measure it. And then on the high string, you're going to flip it over and use the sharp edge, because it's a high E string. And you put that in the nut, and you look. And I can see that it's just touching over. Now I could make a quick adjustment if I wanted to. You had the files, you know, if you got a new nut, we'll go into new nuts later, but this is like 0.5. If